So you're trying to piece together a modern software pipeline, but you feel like you're drowning in a sea of DevOps tools. It's a classic problem. New tools and frameworks pop up constantly, and it's easy to get overwhelmed to the point that you don't know even where to start. But what if you had a roadmap? A guide to the essential tools that will not only define your workflow, but your career in 2025. We're going to cut through the noise and give you a curated list of the top 10 DevOps tools you need to know. We'll walk through infrastructure as code, CI/CD tools, container orchestration, configuration management, infrastructure orchestration platforms, observability, security vulnerability scanning, and logging. I'm not mentioning operating systems and cloud providers because I feel like these are more like prerequisites for a DevOps engineer rather than tools. With that being said, let's get started. First up, you cannot build anything without a solid foundation. In the cloud, that foundation is your infrastructure, and managing it by hand is a recipe for disaster. This is where infrastructure as code or IAC comes in, and this is the practice of managing your infrastructure with code, and in 2025, this is non-negotiable. The first infrastructure as code tool that I want to mention is OpenTofu. So OpenTofu was born in 2023 as a response to HashiCorp's license change to BSL. The project was designed as a drop-in replacement for Terraform, but it's evolving fast. Many of the features that were requested from Terraform in the past were implemented in OpenTofu by the community, making it my top pick when it comes to infrastructure as code. OpenTofu uses ACL to declare its code as you would normally do in Terraform, so you have parity on that level, you don't need to learn a new language. But with OpenTofu, you can be relaxed because the license is never going to change because OpenTofu is under the CNCF umbrella. The second tool from this list is Terraform, and for years Terraform was the default choice for infrastructure as code practitioners. Despite its license change in 2023, Terraform still remains widely adopted in enterprises. And what I saw is that after the license change, Terraform tried to become more and more active and trying to catch up with its open source alternative. Some honorable mentions for the infrastructure as code category go to Pulumi, CloudFormation, and Crossplane. Moving on to the second section, CI/CD. So, okay, we've defined our infrastructure as code. Now the question is, how do we automate on top of our infrastructure to build the applications we need and to deploy them? This is where CI/CD comes into play and is the heart of DevOps engineering. CI/CDs automate everything from a commit directly inside of your production environment. The most popular tool right now in the CI/CD ecosystem is GitHub Actions. If your code is on GitHub, this is the most natural choice for CI/CDs. GitHub Actions lets you create powerful workflows that get triggered whenever there is a Git push or even a pull request. And of course, you also have the option to manually trigger workflows. GitHub Actions pipelines are written in YAML, and the biggest win for GitHub Action is their massive marketplace. They have thousands of pre-built actions that you can easily incorporate inside of your workflows, and these can automate everything you think of, from running your tests to pinging you directly on Slack. For teams that are already living in the GitHub world, GitHub Actions is a no-brainer. Some honorable mentions in the CI/CD sections go to GitLab CI/CD, Jenkins, and CircleCI. Modern applications are built using microservices, and the technology that makes everything work behind the scenes is containers. Containers package the application and its dependencies in a single isolated unit that can run absolutely anywhere. Docker is the tool that kicked off container revolution, and it's still the standard. It gives you a simple way to build, ship, and run your applications in containers. Docker solves the "it works on my machine" problem, and it's the bedrock of cloud-native development. Knowing how to write a Docker file and how to manage your images is a fundamental skill for any DevOps engineer. Once you have your applications in Docker containers, you need a way to manage them at scale. And this is where Kubernetes comes in to help. Kubernetes is an open source platform under the CNCF umbrella that automates everything about managing containers. Kubernetes manifests are written using YAML, making the process really familiar for DevOps engineers. Kubernetes handles autoscaling when traffic spikes, self-heals by restarting failed containers, and helps you with updates with zero downtime. Right now, Kubernetes is the undisputed standard in the container orchestration world. Some honorable mentions in this category include Podman and Builda. Alright, we are halfway through and we've built a powerful core for our pipeline. We are defining infrastructure with Terraform and OpenTofu, automating builds for our applications using GitHub Actions, and running our applications using Docker images and Kubernetes. I'm curious, what is your go-to infrastructure as code tool? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're finding this roadmap useful, do me a favor and hit that like button. The next section I will go through is configuration management. And even with containers, you still need to have servers, you still need to configure them somehow, especially if you're working in a hybrid environment or in an on-premise environment. And that's where configuration management comes in. So the tool I've selected for this is Ansible. It's an open source tool that uses Python behind the scenes and automates just about everything in a simple and powerful way. Ansible is agentless, you don't need to install it on the servers it configures, and you just need to use SSH to connect to those servers and Ansible will do the rest for you. The best part? Ansible playbooks are written in YAML, so you can see a pattern right now. You really need to learn YAML in order to use DevOps tools. Some honorable mentions in the configuration management category include Chef, Puppet, and SaltStack. The next category we will go through is infrastructure orchestration platforms. You have to understand that generic CI/CDs are very powerful, but they were not built with infrastructure in mind. And because of that, they lack certain features such as state management, drift detection and remediation, the ability to build a self-service workflow, dependencies between multiple workflows, and other things that are really required in infrastructure. Spacelift is my pick for this category. So Spacelift is an infrastructure orchestration platform that helps you with your Terraform, OpenTofu, Pulumi, CloudFormation, Kubernetes, and Ansible workflows. It enables GitOps and comes packed with policy as code, ability to self-serve infrastructure, drift detection and remediation, native integrations with tools such as Datadog, ServiceNow, Backstage, Slack, and others. Spacelift enables teams to manage infrastructure at scale while increasing developer velocity and keeping governance in check. Some honorable mentions for this category include Argo CD, Flux CD, and Atlantis. The next section I will go through is observability. Your applications are deployed, but how do you actually know they are working properly? You need to understand what's happening into your systems by looking inside what they produce. For a comprehensive all-in-one observability solution, my pick is Datadog. Datadog is a SaaS platform that pulls your metrics, logs, and traces into a single view. The dashboards that Datadog offer are interactive, the alerting is powerful, and they can even use some machine learning for anomaly detection. Some honorable mentions in the observability category go to Prometheus and Grafana. The next section I will go through is actually security vulnerability scanning. In modern DevOps engineering, security isn't the last step, it's part of the entire process. This practice is called DevSecOps, and it's about shifting left to integrate security checks as soon as possible. My go-to tool for DevSecOps is Snyk. It's a developer-first security platform that helps you with fixing vulnerabilities in your own code, your open source dependencies, your container images, and even in your infrastructure as code file. It can be easily integrated in a CI/CD platform or even in an infrastructure orchestration platform, which makes it a great choice for DevOps engineers. Snyk gives engineers actionable advice and can often create a pull request with fixing it automatically. Some honorable mentions in this category include Trivy and Chekhov. The last section I will talk about is logging. You know that you cannot fix what you cannot see. In any DevOps process, logging is the backbone of observability because it helps teams understand their issues faster and trace problems back to the source. Effective logging isn't just about collecting data, it's about making that data actionable. My pick for this category is the Elastic Stack, which is formed by Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Logstash collects and processes vast amounts of data from various sources. Elasticsearch stores and indexes the data for fast retrieval. And Kibana provides a user-friendly UI that which you can use to explore the logs. Together they are a powerhouse for DevOps engineers to monitor systems and troubleshoot issues, and get insights from massive amount of data. All of these tools on their own, they only do a part of the job, but the key here is to learn how to combine them and to make them work together. So first start with your operating systems, then choose your cloud providers, learn infrastructure as code, configuration management, and everything about containers. Then put Kubernetes on top of your containers. Implement CI/CD pipelines for their applications. For everything infrastructure related, use an infrastructure orchestration platform. And then put together observability, security, vulnerability scanning, and logging. So that's the list, but you have to keep in mind that the DevOps space is always changing. These tools are the core pillars right now of the DevOps world, and they can help you build a modern and resilient software development pipeline. Even though the space is constantly changing, learning these tools will put solid foundations in your career, and it will help you be prepared for the years to come. And that's it for this one. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when new videos come up. I'm Flavius. See you the next time.